welcome back to another episode of Let's Get Spooky. I'm Vamp.
I'm AJ.
And I'm Ashley.
And today we are continuing our Halloween talks.
Mm-hmm.
It is still the month of October, and we are going to talk about haunts, which I know we've kind of touched upon it before, but some of us have done new things. You weren't here for that episode.
I wasn't here for it, so
we're going to get all
doesn't exist for me.
Yeah. So it's a whole new show.
We're veterans. We've talked about many haunts.
So we're going to get your top haunts, but first, Ashley has done a lot of corn mazes.
Well,
which
no, don't spoil it. I was going to give my childhood spiel.
Sorry.
Back in the day, because let's not talk about corn. Yeah, she ruined it.
I love corn.
Well, because I was going to say, because when we talked about haunts, like I didn't do that many. I did like some in Seattle. So I'm not a virgin, but I am an ill-conceived newbie.
Newbie. There we go.
It was an N-word. It was an N-word.
How did we get there?
It was an N-word. Well, I don't know. Anyways, I'm a newbie because I lived in the middle of fucking nowhere, and Boston didn't have any either. So
which is weird.
That
you would
is
think
super weird. I think.
Well, I mean, I guess when you were younger,
I also didn't have any friends like me. So if I want to be like, I want to get spooky, like people would be like, shut the fuck up. So I didn't really have any friends to do that. So my experience back on the farm is what I will be discussing, because y'all have heard me talk about how much I have shit my pants in California. So
shit your pants in the corn maze.
You've seen me, because when we did it, I was like this the whole time, and it just it's super embarrassing. And
last year, I think every time there was something, I was like,
you put me first.
Yeah, and I said, I didn't even ask you if you wanted to go. I said, hey, we're going to go to this. And you're like,
no,
okay.
And then I was like, I'm not going first. And then Cameron would scoot his ass around behind me. And I'm like, no, you were in front, so stay in front.
Because we've done these so many times before. It's it's still scary, but it's really fun to experience someone else experience it for the first time.
Yeah. Well,
so thank you for that, even though you didn't want to.
We
appreciate it.
But anyways, I was going to talk about my corn maze lifetime legacy, because that is something I'm very proud of and ashamed of. But to even go back further beyond my legacy, I thought I'd start in ancient times and when it began, because corn mazes are old as shit. They're older than Jesus, according to the Bible.
I feel like that's not. I feel like that's not real.
Yeah, they're real. Well, the
who said that?
The spawn of corn mazes, their inception, dates back 4,000 years ago, pre-Jesus. Jesus wishes he could have been in a corn maze, and he probably could have. We just didn't know because they didn't write it in the Bible. So he was probably fucking in a corn maze.
Well, and they probably didn't know that that's what they called it.
Yeah, they probably called it a harvest.
A moon harvest.
A moon harvest.
Moon harvest mind fucked. I totally see Jesus saying that.
Moon. Yeah, so anyways, it dates back to ancient Greeks and Rome. Fun fact. But they didn't have corn. I don't know what they were eating. I don't know what plants they were messing with, but it wasn't actual corn. So they
is it a farm in Greece?
Shh, I'm going to tell you.
Too many questions.
So they had mazes and labyrinths, and originally mazes and labyrinths are more of an art thing, so you'd see it in artwork and patterns in roadways and in street pavement, home flooring, basically surfaces, and then people would paint these things. They're like, well, that's a pretty good idea, let's make that real life.
More for art purposes though, not to actually for a haunt.
And then in Europe, more of the fancy people, when they would have their giant castles, they would have those garden labyrinths.
I love a good garden.
So that's where it kind of started, and they're like, ooh, let's make a game of this. So you think 4,000 years ago, and then in Europe, so that's 1600s, 1700s, and then it took fucking many, many years. Meanwhile, as the garden thing was going on until 1993, 1 year after I was born, happy birthday to me, the first modern corn maze was created by Don Franz and Adrian Fisher, who inspired the craze of the maze, as they say.
Ooh, craze of the maze. I want that on a shirt.
Yeah, we're going to get one. Don't copy us on Amazon, though.
It's crazy. Yeah, I know.
Fuck.
Hey, if you see that shirt on Amazon, that's
don't
not
buy
us.
That's us.
Yeah.
Rude.
So I thought that was super interesting. One, because I grew up with corn mazes, because I lived in the middle of nowhere, and I've had very bad experiences in corn mazes.
Shining
it's
style?
A haunt to me as a child was a corn maze. Pure daylight, fucking bitch ass corn
just
things
being lost
everywhere.
in corn.
The smell of a farm, which is not a good smell.
Like hay and poop usually.
And then kids screaming in Oshkosh Bagosh overalls going, Mommy, where are you? And so like I was kind of one of those kids where I was like, well, where am I really? And I would always
you're not really selling it for me. I'm not like, let's go run and do it.
So anyways, it was scary for me because I was also nearsighted, so I couldn't see. So I was always running into the corn, and then unless it was like right here. So that was scary. And then I was like, maybe I was just a fucked up child. But then as I was reading about the biggest corn maze in the world, which happens to be in Dixon, California.
Oh, I was not thinking it would be.
No, I thought it'd be
all.
like in the South.
Yeah.
So it's like 60 acres, which is massive if you think about how big that is. I remember living on
the whole maze is, or it's
the
on
whole
60 acres?
No, the whole maze is 60
wow.
acres. So and what I found really interesting, one, that's big as fuck, but two, a lot of the 911 calls that they would get, because like they would close at 10, and it, like the calls that they would get, they'd just be like this dad, and he's like, yo, I've been in here for 4 hours, my kids are screaming, and I will not gonna, like they were afraid, they're like, they're gonna not turn off the lights because the sun turns off the lights, but the sun like, will turn itself off, right, and they'll be fucked, and they'll be like, bye.
Wait, the sun hasn't gone down and it's 10 o'clock at night?
Well, I don't know.
Depending on where you are, the sun won't set till like late.
No matter what, no matter what, it closes at 10 p.m. But they were nervous as soon as the lights go down. They just don't give a fuck.
So the sun's going down. He's getting worried, and he's like, we only have a little bit more time where the sun.
So there was
off.
just a lot of calls where 911 kind of knew. They're like, oh, is this in Dixon, California? Is this the, what did they call it?
Craze maze?
It's called the Cool Kids Pumpkin Patch. That's what it's called.
That sounds like very family friendly. And then they're like, oh, it's 60 acres. Good luck. The sun turns off at 6 p.m.
They didn't even have those bells that you would, because sometimes they have those where you ring them. It's like, I need help. Please come and get me.
But 60 acres, I mean, you have to have
that's
like,
a thick
you gotta
boy corn maze.
Bell.
Maybe it's like Harry Potter style where you have to put the spark up in the air.
Something.
But I was thinking, I'm like, that's actually like a daytime haunt that would scare me, because if it was 60 acres and I was stuck in there, because I know I'd get stuck, I would shit my pants, I would not be pleased. And there's not even people coming out at you. It's just corn.
Yeah, like it's not even the element of anything else but corn.
And you can't even have corn. You are allergic to popcorn or something, right?
Well, popcorn, but I can have
if
corn.
If you're in a corn maze,
it's the process between the corn and the popcorn. Something there just is like, no, Leanna.
So actually, fun fact, this is corn related, but you know that little babysitter thing that they sent us, the babysitter movie, like PR package, there was a prepackaged popcorn in it, and I love popcorn so much. We know I'm slightly allergic, but I'm like, let me just try it and see what happens, and nothing happened. So maybe if it has enough preservatives.
That happened to my friend. She thought she was gluten-free, and then she realized that she just doesn't have a gallbladder, so she's always shitting. So I think that sometimes we preconceive things
just like that. Just like that.
It's just like that. Like you're thinking too hard.
Yeah, I think just it has a lot of preservatives, so then it made my mouth a little itchy, but not like before where I was like, maybe I have to go to the hospital. So it just has to be
the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like maybe you can have the brioche.
Or maybe not. Well, but I was fine. So I do love corn. I would not be allergic, but I would be lost for sure, because I can't even go on the freeway.
But I haven't gone in one since, because I'm like so traumatized by corn.
But you didn't go into one that was 60 acres,
no,
right?
But like, I think there was an eeriness to my neighborhood, and then everyone knew each other, and it's like, oh, that's Farmer Dale.
It was in your neighborhood? Like the corn maze was actually in your neighborhood?
Like we would go up the road, and so it was probably like a mile within our neighborhood. I lived in the boonies. Like there was shit everywhere. There was like goats and shit.
I love a good goat.
Me, huh?
I have a desire for a corn maze, but then I also don't really have a desire to be lost. And I think the whole idea of a haunt for me is the element of surprise, like the shock factor, the boo, and
the creativity that they put into the sets and stuff.
I think they do a corn maze, it's like Naked and Afraid, and you get like a machete, but like the corn is made of metal, and you're like, well, shit.
Like some sort of like challenge has to be involved, because other than that, I'm like, I don't really want to just go walk around in corn.
The floor is lava, and you have to climb the corn. And you're just like,
there you go. Shimmy on up.
Have you done a corn maze before?
I feel like I did one when I was little, but I don't remember it. So
I feel like they're always at like pumpkin patches. When
little
you go to pumpkin
ones,
patch.
those ones are like really small. But
but I don't remember ever like eagerly wanting to do the corn maze.
I don't think anyone did.
I think the 60-acre corn maze is kind of a fun, like as an adult, could be fun if you had like a cocktail and then you're like, okay, let's see who can get out of it first, kind of thing.
Cocktail and corn.
And as long as there's an escape button, I don't have to call the police.
And if they had like Michael Myers like coming out from a corner and just like looking at you, like, ooh, I would stand there forever. But whatever. So
no corn mazes in your future? So that corn maze that I was going to tell you that we're going to do next weekend, you're not down for it?
I'm busy.
Okay. So one interesting thing that I looked up is we've done a lot of haunts. So I was thinking, how far back do these haunts go? Because a lot of us that do these, you didn't necessarily do them as a child because first of all, they don't really encourage, like Universal and Knott's don't encourage kids to go. So
they're still there and it's awkward and you're like, why are you here?
But some kids are super into it.
Yeah, I guess.
Which I would have been super into it if my parents were into it.
No, I wouldn't.
Have you seen the people, like they take their babies and they have like the headphones on?
No.
But then the babies are like excited when the monster comes. It's super. I mean, the only thing is you don't want to like hurt their ears, so they put like the noise.
Yeah, but they probably grew up their 2 years of life watching like Yo Gabba Gabba, and they're used to like some
people in costumes.
Yeah,
they're like the blood doesn't bother them. So I kind of looked up the history of things like Not Scary Farm and Horror Nights. So Horror Nights has been around since 1991, which I didn't.
Older than me.
Older than Ashley. And for me personally, I remember going when I was younger. I was still too young to go on my own. I was with somebody's parents, like one of my friend's parents, and I think it was in 2001, and I was terrified. And then it was so much fun, but then I didn't really have anyone that would go with me, so I didn't start going back again until Cameron and I were together. Was like in 2007 was our first year that we went, and it's so sad because this year would have been our 14th year.
Oh my God.
So sad.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll go next year.
Ruined.
But Not Scary Farm, this is even crazier, has been around since 1973.
That's so crazy. I can see them doing like a corn maze and stuff like that.
Yeah, so essentially, I mean, it's been a farm. So they have like that harvesty vibe. They would do like the pumpkin patch and everything. I'm not really sure when it transitioned into what it is now, whereas more like the mazes, because initially it wasn't like what we see today. Like when you go to Knott's or Horror Nights now, it's a very specific, there's a bunch of different mazes.
Yep.
You go from maze to maze, there's a couple experiences. So it was more like, I feel like it was more of like the corn vibe, or cornfield vibe, kind of like farm vibe, and then slowly transitioned.
Hypnotic corn.
Hypnotic corn.
Well, it'd be cool if that old rickety roller coaster just dropped you off in the middle of one. It's like, because it has
Ghost
that
Rider?
old people vibe.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
There's ghosts.
There's ghosts in here.
Is it the camera?
I don't know. There's things moving off the set. So Not Scary Farm, same thing. I remember going, I think it was with my soccer team. And we didn't, when we were younger, like we liked the spooky stuff, but we went for the rides because most people were like going to the mazes and we're like, we want to go on all the roller coasters. And then now as an adult, we go for all the scary stuff.
I go for both, but
I've only gone once, so I guess I've gone for it, whatever it is.
You went to both of them last year. Yeah, we did.
You went to Knott's, right?
I went to Knott's.
Yeah, you went to Knott's, and then we did Horror Nights.
Yeah, but I've only done them once, so I have like nothing to compare to like what it was. Like,
compared to the corn maze, how much?
Yeah.
Do you like it better than the corn maze?
Well, yeah, but I had a headache that night, so it was hard. But if I didn't have a headache this year and we didn't have COVID, I would have something to compare it to.
Maybe if you drank more water at the time. Now you're good, but at the time you're dehydrated.
Have my squirt. Shut up. That's clear liquid.
That's clear liquid.
Fuck off.
So we're gonna go through. I guess we'll go through the haunts. We'll start maybe with Universal and kind of talk about our favorites, and then AJ and I have some kind of different experiences to talk about. So Ashley, since you only went one time last year, what was your favorite from Horror Nights?
Horror Nights? Oh, well, fuck.
It's a lot too, because it's hard to remember. There's so much.
Well, there's so many different ones, because I very much remember my least favorite, which was Stranger Things.
Really? Stranger Things. They've done a few. I feel like last year, because they tried to combine all the seasons and stuff. There was too much paper mache.
It was weird.
Did they try to do
and also I think on some of them too, when the line, like we usually get the it's not the VIP or whatever,
but like the front
pass.
of the pass line.
Pass,
yeah, we do that now because there's one year we did it and we were waiting in line. I'm just like, what are we doing?
And
like,
it kills
so worth it.
It kills it for you because you waited this whole time and then your expectations are so high and then you get through it and you're like, wow, I waited 2 hours.
Yeah, it's totally worth it to get it because you get through all of them like quicker too. And you're not trying to like burn through it, but like
You keep that high, that rush
you take it the whole time, and then you don't, like, if you don't have it, you probably get through like maybe half of the mazes and you're like, cool, it's closing soon. What do we have to, like, you have to choose your favorites at that point.
Yeah, that's kind of a good note, obviously, for next year when these things open, is if you can get the front of the line or the fast pass or whatever, because there's really no way when some of the waits are like 2 hours plus, there's no way you can get through it all. So it may be a little bit of extra money, but it's totally worth it.
Wait, I remember my favorite. It was the Universal Monsters.
Oh, yeah. They had the Invisible Man.
Yeah.
And he, like, with the black light that they used. And, oh, yeah, that was really cool.
That was my jam. I was trying to remember. I was like, there was some Christmas shit. But then there was
oh, yeah.
I
like the Christmas. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite scare zones. And I felt like it was so well put together. And they really, like, put effort into it. And the monsters and the scares were really good. And it was, like, that was one of my favorite scare zones. They've tried to do other scare zones, but the one thing that I found is Horror Nights in Orlando really kills it at scare zones because it's bigger. They just have more room
more
to
space.
To spread
they
it
have
all
more
out.
crazy people, so they have more scary.
That's true.
Hot there.
Like, I feel like a lot of the people who are the scare people
or just
like,
normal people.
Yeah, I'm already on edge just being in
just
Florida.
Like, just put me in a fake beard. I'm gonna do it.
They're all just the Florida man stories.
I'm just like already on edge, and then the scaring is also really bad.
They got like alligators in their pockets, just like
that would be amazing. Little baby gators.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
You know how I feel about
whip
gators.
out my gator.
The scare zone that I really liked was when they did the Purge one.
Oh yeah.
They had it just out in the street, and they had like there were some really cool times where like the smoke machines would go off, and then I forgot, there's like one girl who was wearing a tutu and she had like a baseball bat and she was like standing in the middle like swinging the bat, and her silhouette, it was so cinematic how cool it looked.
They just put more effort to it. In Orlando, was it last year, Cameron, or the year before, where they had the killer clowns? I don't remember what year it was, but they
had that at Hollywood too.
Yeah, they had the
killer clown.
Well, they had the killer clown maze, but in Orlando they had a scare zone.
Oh.
And one of our friends is terrified of clowns, like terrified. He is like
I don't
6'3",
understand that.
like he's like a giant man. And so we turned the corner and he could see it like coming from a mile away. I have never seen him. He's like just like a tall, big guy.
About you, Mike.
Yeah, our friend Mike, this is about you. He ran so fast, and then everyone's like looking for him. We're like, where did Mike go? And he just left. He like didn't say I'm leaving. He didn't say, hey, I'll meet you at the burger joint after. He was just like, peace. But it was
he's at home in bed.
He just left. It was the coolest scare zone. They had like all of the clowns. It was super foggy, so they would really jump out and scare you. And it was just one of the things that you hadn't really seen before. And then they brought it to our park with the maze, which the maze was probably one of my favorites.
Just all the colors were so blinding. You would go through the rooms and it would just be all these different patterns with these bright colors because they're using the black lights, and then they had like the big cotton candy.
Yeah, the little pod things.
And they just look so gross and sticky. Oh,
what's the dog's name? Where he's calling I forget the dog's name, where like the farmer guy's outside calling the dog. And it's like so just right out of the movie. Like literally like you just stepped into the movie. I felt bad for that guy because every like 3 minutes
he would have to come back out and say the thing. I thought he was animatronic, and then I realized he was real because I'm so blind. I was like, wait, he's sweating.
So I think my favorite Horror Nights maze was the American Werewolf in London. And I don't remember because we've done it for so many years. I don't remember what, it was a couple years ago. And then the Terror Tram when they had Chucky with all the Chuckies.
So good.
What?
Like we did the Terror Tram. Remember when we went? Like you drove down the tram, then you had to walk through the psycho house.
Yeah, but I didn't get any Chuckies.
So it was a bunch of Chuckies, like little Chuckies. You got off the tram,
so
and they
creepy,
just chased the shit out of you. Like
that's
the whole
my
way
dream.
through.
But they're amazing. Like normal size, but they're still have the purpose.
No,
were
this
they
wasn't
the
the normal
little people?
size. This was years ago where they were little people. This was like forever ago. It was like terrifying, like tons of them. And then a couple years ago they had the Chucky masks on.
Yeah,
but it was, it
that
was
would
crazy.
Be my dream.
And it wasn't like, sometimes you do it and there's like a couple of them. Like when you get off the Terror Tram, whatever the theme is, there's like not that many of them. There was like a lot of Chuckies, like
that's so cool.
And people that are afraid of dolls. Like the most amazing thing is I love Chucky. I was like, please hug me. And then everyone else was screaming. Like I've never seen so many girls just scream and run, and then they feed off that. So Chucky was like,
they go after you if you scream. There's a hint. If you don't scream, you don't look scared, they'll ignore you.
Yeah, you have to have a little bit of fear so that you get some attention.
I like to because I just want them to try to scare,
I flirt with them. I'm like, you're cute.
You just start dancing.
Yeah.
You're like, well, let's get down.
It's a fear dance.
I was single at the time, and Frankenstein was quite big, and I was like,
I like you.
If I just pop the booty, he might take a bite. Whatever. Didn't work.
Maybe.
Didn't work.
Didn't work. But there's always next year.
There's always next year. Yeah, try next year. I feel like, I think last year, the Terror Tram, they didn't actually let you off. And I was very upset by it.
Yeah, they did it, which was really
you
weird.
you go on the tram, you get off, and you walk through the plane crash zone.
The War of the Worlds, and then you go to the Psycho House, and there's the photo op.
And you can take your photo there. And then I remember one year they did like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing, so you're going through like the meat.
Go through the Bates Motel and everything.
And all that stuff. But I feel like last year they didn't let you off the tram, and I was like, well, this is a bummer.
Well, you know what I think it is too? It depends on the day you go, because sometimes it's closed, and sometimes it closes early. And then, but yeah, I don't know what the reason would have been why they didn't let you off. I don't remember.
Yeah.
We don't like that. We like the
was
Terror
sad.
Tram, and we like to walk.
And
it's also a challenge because it's like the back lot, so it's all uphill.
Yeah.
It's already kind of scary. People are hiding in the bushes. Like they do the things that you think that should be done. Yeah. And they do it very well. So I enjoyed that very much. Do you have a favorite maze? Horn? Did you already say
I have
favorite maze?
3 of them. Last year I really liked the Us maze.
Yeah, that one was really well done.
I also, in 2017, they did The Shining. And I really love that one. They were all wearing like the Jack Nicholson masks.
The masks? Yeah.
And it was so creepy, but like the masks were like pretty decent quality. So that was pretty cool. And then also in 2017, they did an American Horror Story one, which they've done a few, but this one
was that the one with the big red curtains when you went in? Because there was one year
3 seasons.
Yeah,
they separated
really well.
So they had Murder House, Freak Show, and then Hotel.
Yeah, I remember that.
So like you could actually like when you're walking through, you're like going through the different seasons, and it was pretty cool.
They had that in Seattle, and it was like the best thing I've ever been to. But it was only Freak Show, but like it was
that's
legit.
That's pretty cool. Was it like just a maze, like a haunted house?
Like it was it was like 40 minutes though,
or like a pop up.
Yeah,
kind of
it was.
Thing.
That's really cool.
I was like, fuck.
One that was kind of didn't really get, like, a lot of people didn't talk about it, was the Crimson Peak one. Do you remember that one? That was a couple years ago, and it was like just beautiful. Like it was just really cool looking. And I remember the one thing that I remember was the end. There was like these big giant vats of like some sort of in it. Yeah. And like people popped out of it, and it was like towards the end, it scared the shit out of me. But it was just visually like nice looking. Like they did a really good job with it.
I'm gonna have to YouTube this after.
And then I would say that my favorite one was in Orlando. So they did Poltergeist. So we did it in the Hollywood Park as well, but in Orlando, and I know I talked about this on a previous episode, when you walked into the maze, you were walking through the pool. Like through, and there was like dirt, and there was water, and there was vines dripping down. So you're basically like walking through the backyard.
Yeah.
The front of the house in LA, right. And it was basically really the inside was very similar. There were certain things that were different because of obviously the sizing. But the entrance was so grand and so cool. And there was another one of those where you literally felt like you're walking into the movie. Like it was really super cool. And again, in Orlando, they have more space so they can kind of do those things. Mm-hmm. So if you're kind of debating, like you're going to travel for it and you're like, should I do Orlando or should I do Hollywood? I would suggest Orlando just because you're going to get like bigger mazes, and they do a lot of unique mazes. So they did one called The Hive, which is like a vampire themed. They do ones that are not franchise based. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just thought about this, but there was one year, funny moment. They did a Halloween one. And so we're going through and it's like, it all looks really cool. And, Michael's popping out at you. And then, they had a kid sitting in front of a TV, and it was a Halloween.
Of the witch one. Yeah, I remember that.
And the Silver Shamrock commercial was playing, and Matt just stops and is like, "Oh my God, it's the Silver Shamrock!" And he's like, "I need a picture of this." And Michael came out and was like trying to scare him, and he's like, "Do you see this TV?"
He's like, "Can you stop right now? I'm trying to."
Oh my God, you're so embarrassing.
He was excited.
Can't take you anywhere.
So, funny story. That same maze, we have a friend. His name's Jake. Yes, I'm talking about you, Jake. Is afraid of. You guys know Jake.
Jake the Great.
He's afraid of little kids. like in scary movies, like little kids. So I remember going through that maze and he freaked out because there was like little kids in it.
Yeah.
And like he got so mad and he's like, you didn't tell me that there was little kids in this.
You've never seen Poltergeist, Jake?
I mean, he's probably seen it, but he's not happy about it.
It's nothing but kids.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's just
terrified. He probably didn't see it because of that.
He probably doesn't watch it because he's afraid of little kids, especially possessed little kids. So yeah, but it was hilarious.
That's funny.
I laugh at other people's misfortune sometimes. Okay. Knots. You only went 1 year. So do you remember?
Oh my God. The laser one.
Oh, the laser, what is it called?
tag.
The laser tag.
Laser zombie one.
But it's like a zombie.
I wake up sometimes. I'm just like, damn, I'd really like to do that right now. But they stopped it.
They stopped it. It was the last year.
That was the best thing I've ever done in my life.
For the last year, it is pretty fun, and it's all about like your guide or your person that goes through, and the guy that was part of our group was like, he was there for a wedding, wasn't he? So he's like super into it. So we got like a top-notch experience, and he yelled at us and was like,
I feel
go.
I didn't get to experience that because I was in the front somehow of the group, and then he'd be like, okay, go. And I'd be like, okay. So I just start running.
Oh, so
and I would just like
be behind
shooting
yelling at everybody.
So yeah, you guys got the experience with him, and I would look behind. I'm like, where is everybody?
You were
I'm
saving
like
our
3
lives.
scenes ahead. Like, why am I running through this? And then
That's
I
why
tried
everyone
to stop.
was dead by the time we got to them. Aja just went and blasted everybody. Okay, so the zombie one. What was your favorite?
There's a
It doesn't
lot
have to
that
be
I
from
do
last
like,
year.
but my least favorite one, the one that like really got me, was the dentist one. I don't
Tooth
remember
Fairy.
what year
I
it
love
was
that one
because I hate the dentist.
You know that
I don't
they
think
stopped
you
that
were
one.
there.
It was like a couple of years back. It's called Tooth Fairy, and that's on my favorite list actually.
I thought you didn't like teeth things.
I don't, but that's why I like it so much because it's very rare that something like actually makes me uncomfortable and afraid. And that one, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna vomit.
I had to walk through with my.
It's so loud.
Is it just like scurrying teeth off
the
and
whole
shit?
time?
It's like
just
weird
the drilling sound the entire.
Oh, I would love
and
that.
There's like,
I wanted to die.
Kids with like messed up stuff, and it's pretty gnarly, and the sound, and it kind of smells.
Yeah, it has that
like,
dentist smell in there, which I
love
hate.
that smell.
So it's good and bad, but they discontinued that maze.
Good. Good riddance.
One that I really liked, which actually I feel like most people on the internet called it the worst maze ever at Not Scary Farm. It was called Mirror Mirror. And it was essentially, this was years ago, I forget what year it was. And it was essentially like a fun house kind of experience. You go into this hall of mirrors, and it's basically like an escape room maze, but there's no escaping. So essentially they're trapped in it with a group.
Like a corn maze, damn it.
Like a corn maze with mirrors, which is even worse because I was wearing, I didn't have LASIK yet, so my depth perception was always really off. So I kept running into stuff. And then at a certain point, like you start kind of like, I started panicking. I was like, I don't want to be in here anymore. I need to get out, thinking that there was a way out. But really what it is you're trapped in there and you can't, for a certain amount of time. I'm pretty sure they took it out because they couldn't get enough people through it.
Yeah,
like
that
it just
seems
takes
like
too
a very
long.
low.
And people didn't like it because I feel like they didn't like it because they thought they could get out and they sucked at it. But really, you couldn't get out. But it was just one of those that was different. It wasn't just a typical walk-through maze. So I very much enjoyed it. And then I also like Pumpkin Eater because it's the pumpkin maze where you're walking through the pumpkin, the smells.
Yeah,
and
that
like
one's fun.
The pumpkin
textures.
guts. Yeah, it's just a really cool, unique
They're
maze.
going to have one like 5 years from now that's like the COVID maze. It's going to be people with like masks and like nasty green shit flying out their nose and be like, ha ha.
It's going to be nothing but like pandemic related horror movies and mazes next year.
Maze-demic.
I have something to talk about later that is already happening. So, so I think that's our favorites. Is there any other favorites?
Well, I was going to call out the trick or treat one that we did at the Hayride last year. That was fun because it was like interactive. You would go through which Abe posted the videos from it like recently, and I was like reminiscing, but like you would go up and you would ring the doorbell and they had like these different themed houses, and then the person who answered the door or like, jumped out from the door actually gave you a piece of candy, which was awesome.
I didn't know that until like the very end, and I was like, wait, because you're with
I
a
got
big
a lot
group.
of candy.
Yeah,
that was a good night.
I was in the back of the group for that one, so they were like, oh, screw you, don't get any
no candy for you.
But the idea of it, like, super cute.
Yeah, and like the people that were jumping out, you were themed with the house they were coming from. it was really cool. I thought that was like really fun. Just like that interactivity was like neat and special that you don't really normally see.
Well, and also seeing like I know Horror Nights did like a trick or treat maze, like from the movie, but actually incorporating the idea of trick or treating
like
into
actually trick or treating during the maze was really cool.
Because we're all grown up, so it is weird if we on Halloween go out. They should have
given you like little adult pills. Things like alcoholic candies and like
little travel size booze,
bag of Adderall, just like
some aspirin.
Yeah, you wake up and you're like, I'm an adult.
Maybe for future, you make the maze. I feel like I would
love
have
money for that. Would I look like Rockefeller?
I would love for someone to be like, Ashley, we would like you to just design a maze because I feel like it would be the most fucking random thing.
It would be weird.
It would be weird, but also something you've never experienced before. And you would be wasted.
I would do it different for genders. I would have like one specifically for men.
How do you see that happening?
It would be like the tampon aisle of like the grocery store.
Like you make them buy tampons?
There's like a tampon monster and all his fingers are that, and he starts like touching you and he's just like, what size do you think you should buy, little man? And he's like, I don't know.
Cameron said he's not going to that one.
She didn't tell
me. One of each? Get the variety
And then
pack.
he does it wrong, and then the floorboards just like fall out from underneath him, and then he goes into a pool of blood.
Wow.
Oh,
I mean, I feel like people would go to that. People would pay top dollar for that.
I would just like men to respect those moments a little bit more, you know?
What would the women's one have?
I don't know. It would probably just be like walking down the street in LA at night.
Just real life?
Yeah, just real life is pretty.
And then maybe get a massage at the end. Yeah. Like for your trauma.
Yeah, just getting chased by hobos with machetes and apparently belt clips from last week in my neighborhood. So
what's a belt clip?
Like it was like this, I don't know, it showed up on Citizen. It's like man harassing women with belt clip, and I was like, damn, that sounds like my dad.
I don't even know what that is.
Shit,
but
I don't know. I think it's like swinging his belt, like
he's like trying to.
Yeah.
Ugh, well, gross.
Way to go back to the 80s, sir.
Not doing that. Not signing up for that one.
Yep. No thanks.
Okay, so you have a unique experience to talk about, as do I, but you're gonna go first.
Sure. So mine is, I did this in 2019. It's called Into the Dark Terror Vault, and it was up in San Francisco. When I lived there, I went. I don't know why I just said that way. Sorry, y'all.
When I lived there,
I went. This one was especially cool because it was in a historic building. It was in the old San Francisco Mint that opened in 1854, and it made money until 1937, and then they moved to another facility.
So was it anything, or was it just like an abandoned building before that?
I don't know if there was anything in it. I'm sure there was something in between, but they had the maze like actually inside, and we actually went into like the lower levels, like the basements where like the old vaults were and stuff, which was really cool. One thing that I found really interesting, it was a 21 and up only maze.
Weird.
Yeah.
Like, was it because there was alcohol involved, or
no? It wasn't involved. Like, on the website, they're like, oh, you should come 30 minutes early because they had a bar that you could go to, but it's not like
you didn't have to. So
you didn't have to, obviously, because
maybe it's it's probably just like a legal thing because they're serving alcohol. It's easier for them. Like if anyone is drinking, they are of age, kind of thing.
And then it was also cool because it was hosted by Peaches Christ, who is
that's cool.
Drag queen in San Francisco. So the story was, so they would take your group. It was about a 45-minute experience. You had like 10 to 12 people with your group. So like, obviously, if you want it to be, you don't want to go with strangers, you could have 10 friends go with you, and then you can all be in the same group.
But if you have a smaller group, then you're grouped with like another.
Yeah, you're grouped with other people. So you could have, like, if you could either opt in to have, like, you know, the scare actors touch you, and you would wear like a glow stick necklace, so that would indicate that you're fine with them, like coming up and touching you, interaction, pulling you away from the group, which they would do. Matt, I think, opted in, and our friend Kyle also opted in, and our friend Kyle got pulled like he was like the first person to get pulled, which was really funny. Also, when we were walking down, we were like, it hadn't even started. Like, we were walking down this one kind of just like creepy hallway, and it was just creepy because it's an old building and all the lights were off. It was very dark. One girl tapped out.
Just for the dark?
Yeah, she was like,
That'd be me.
I'm done. And then I thought she was joking, like, because she was like, no, I'm done.
Well, I think
she might have had to poop.
Or she either had to poop, but I think in a lot of those situations, people think it's fine. Like, you're like, oh, no, I can handle that.
Yeah, like, oh, this sounds fun.
Yeah.
And then you go to the bar and you have a couple, and then you're going through the maze. You're like, yeah, no, never mind.
You're like, I don't like the dark. Why did I say yes to this?
Why did I say yes to this? So the whole story was that, I don't think this is true, but they said that there was a jail in the basement of the Mint where they would like keep people and so
murder them, maybe,
possibly, and it was like haunted by people who had like died. And the ending of this was actually really cool because you would go into the area where like it was just like a hallway and they had all these vaults on either side. And then they told the story of that there was a guy who was there and he got his hands on like a bunch of gold and he would feed it to the rats. So
what the fuck?
Yeah, it was weird. But so to leave, you had to find a rat that had some of the gold in its stomach as almost like a toll to be able to leave.
To exit.
So you basically, they're like, okay, you're free to walk around in this area. So you would go off and go into one of the vaults and each one had like a different person in it. The room
there was actors in the vaults?
There's actors in there like playing out a scene. The one I went into was like an insane clown, but the cool thing was he was making cotton candy, and I was like, oh, can I have some? And he's like, yes, here you go. And I was like, sweet. So I got cotton candy out of it, and I actually found my rat pretty quick. So I was like, well, okay, I'm done. So I was just mostly just walking around. Another one of the rooms was like, it was completely dark, pitch black, and there was like a lady standing in the middle, and she was like, she must have been standing on something because she was very tall, like in all white. Like almost like a nun kind of outfit. Yeah. Like it was really creepy.
So each scenario was different, but the goal was there was a rat in the room.
You would go find it, and then you'd give it to, I forgot who it was, and then they'd be like, okay, you can go. But yeah, it was really cool. I liked the interactivity. The story of it was pretty cool, and also just being in like that really old building just like added to it.
So it's kind of like, I know they've done it here in LA, and I don't think they did it last year, but they had done it for quite a few years, the Delusion, which was essentially it's like an interactive play. So it's the same kind of thing as like they're acting out this play, you come in and you are an actor as part of the play. But theirs wasn't like, you didn't get to choose if you wanted to be a part of it or not. By going in, you were a part of it. So I remember that one, I had never done anything like that was interactive, and like right from the get-go you're separated, like your group is split up, so it kind of keeps you on your toes. And the people were really into it, like they cool. Very much practiced. It was very theatrical. It was super fun. And then they did it for a couple of years, and then I don't think they did last year. I don't think they got the funding for it. But so mine that I just did recently.
Yours sounds insane.
Very crazy. So I went to the 17th door. And if you don't know what the 17th door is, it is like an immersive, interactive experience with the added element of torture. So Ashley and I had talked about McCamey Manor in the past, and she was like, no way, no how, you can't even pay me. And I'm kind of like, I was on the fence. Like, I wouldn't do that because I feel like I don't want
Wait, is that the guy that like just does torture to you?
For like a can of dog food? Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like...
Well, here's the thing though. There was a thing that went around where people are like, he shouldn't be allowed to do that. And my opinion is, who am I to say what you can or can't do? As long as nobody's getting hurt, which the thing is, people were getting hurt.
People are getting hurt.
But I heard it was getting sold in a red room on the dark web.
Wait, what was?
The footage of McCamey.
Oh, yeah.
So he was like making money through that.
Oh, so he's like
people who like to watch people get tortured.
Yeah. So 17th Door isn't quite as intense as that, but there is... it's an immersive experience. There is a waiver involved. It's a 2-page waiver. Essentially,
did you read it?
So I did because
teeth.
Yes, but I also looked at it because I wanted to make sure the types of things that I would experience. What I would recommend firsthand is if you're thinking about doing it, make sure you watch this after because spoiler alert. Also, if you're thinking about doing it, make sure you go to the website and read the frequently asked questions because it'll pretty much answer the types of things that people are like, will this happen? Will that happen? Will I have to do this or that? It'll answer all of those. There's also videos, which I chose not to watch because I knew if I watched watched them, I would have chickened out. And to be 100% honest, I think that if everything that was happening right now wasn't happening, I probably wouldn't have done it. Because the idea of like paying for an experience where pain will be inflicted on you, I was like, I don't know if I feel good about that. But at this point, I'm like, I don't care, I'll do anything. So me and a group of friends were like, okay, we're going to do it. On the waiver, some of the things that you can experience are claustrophobia, electrical shocks, moving floors, water, foul scents, strobe lighting, projectiles, fog, total darkness, dizziness, suffocation, latex, disorientation, loud noises, and you also may get wet.
Sounds like a downtown like bondage bar or something, to be honest.
So I kind of briefly scanned. I was like, yeah, these things could happen. In my mind and in the general consensus of the group was, hey, it's COVID. They're going to have to basically they're going to have to tone it down, right? Because they can't do all of those things because of the safety protocols.
They can't put corn in your mouth, so you're
They can't put corn in your mouth. Well, you do have to wear a mask. And one thing I have to say, it was very safe. You have to wear goggles, gloves. They sanitize your hands multiple times throughout the experience. People do touch you though. So there is like interaction.
Not a fan.
So as you go through this experience, I actually had to ask, let me drop my notes, the group and our group chat to be like, hey, can we try to come up with everything that happened? Because once you go in, it's sensory overload. There's like all of those things that I was saying, they are all happening. So once it was over, there was a moment where I was like, what just happened? You remember like the highlights of the things that hurt really bad, but a lot of the other things are like, oh wait, yeah, that happened too. So in the group chat, we were able to come up with, I think, almost all of them. They are out of order because, again, trauma. You don't remember things with trauma. So initially we go in and you sit. The scene is basically, every year they've done this, they started in 2015, is you're following the character of Paula. So it's her story in different scenarios. So this year was COVID. Basically, they're in a prison, a penitentiary, and there's a COVID breakout, and you're basically following her journey.
Oh, so just like real life.
Exactly. It was basically real life.
Sad.
But safe and sanitized. And so you basically are in like an inmate, where you do the phones, there's like the wall and the phones. So you go in, and for me, I was thinking just like most other things, we're going to ease on into it. You're going to walk in, someone's going to go boo, and it's going to be fine. We go in, everybody's yelling at you, the workers or the actors. You sit down and like things are happening. There's fog. I'm already disoriented. I'm like, what did I agree to? Immediate regret the second we go through. And not
good thing you had your LASIK.
I could see.
Mistake.
Yeah.
So I forgot the beginning. So when you're waiting in line, there's like these like the prison guards is what they would be called, and they have like their batons and their like taser, no joke, real taser, and they're like kind of psyching you out, like not roughing you up, but just like getting you prepared, a little tough talk. And so we're standing there with our group, and like people in our group get tased. Like legit, it's
Who
a
got
baton.
tased?
Cameron got tased. Our friend.
What did it feel like?
And our neighbor Liam got tased, which also our neighbor is a champ. He's 14 years old and he loves Halloween. And he was like, no, I want to do this. And Liam, you rock. Like he did pretty much everything and was awesome. Like there was moments where I was like, I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore. So I thought it was a joke. I literally asked Cameron probably 12 times before we went in. I was like, you're joke, but you didn't really get tased, right? He's like, no, I got tased. And I absolutely didn't believe him. I was like, no, they're not going to tase you. Like they're not going to do that. Right. So we go in, immediately we're doing the thing with the little phone room. Something jumps out like onto the table, like a door opens and like a person jumps out. And I'm not joking. Like it's right here. Like it wasn't like far away. It's like right in your face. And then as that happens, you're sitting under with like on a stool. So you can't see underneath your legs. Like stuff comes out, hits you in the legs. I mean, it was within like 10 seconds. I screamed so loud. I ran. And that was number one. That was door one. So then we continue to move on. After you're starting to hear the story of Paula. And then we move into like the jail cell room. So as all this is happening, there's somewhere it's distinct, like there's a number on the door. So you realize, okay, now we're at door 4, we're at door 7.
Oh, so you know the progress a little bit?
You do. I remember, I think it was like door 4. And I just remember saying out loud, oh my God, guys, how much more is this? Like, I don't think I could take it. And the group looks at me and they're like, 17, like 17th door. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm not going to make it. So in the jail cell room, you're like running through, like, I'm not going to give everything away, but it scared the shit out of me in that room. And then we move on to like a shower scene. So you're walking through, like, basically imagine being in a prison. So there's the visitor area, there's the jail cells, there's showers, there's like the lunch room. Like, you're basically going, there's the lockers. You're going through all of the scenes that would be in a jail. So there's a big group of us, and you may get wet. And when they say like it's showers, it's not like Horror Nights or Knots where it's like a little sprinkle or it's like a little spit. It's the shower is on. Oh, no. And all of us, well, the beginning of us that were like so frazzled, which was me, I didn't realize, like, okay, think, how does a shower work? The water comes out of a faucet attached to the wall, right? So the water goes like a waterfall, like an arch. My dumbass, they were spraying it, but like my dumbass is like, no matter where I go, I'm literally walking into a shower in my face, like on. And then we were all holding on to each other. We were so terrified. And then at a moment I realized, like, wow, we could just put our back to the wall. This is at the very last shower. We could just put our back to the wall and the water will go over us.
Getting like drenched?
Yeah. They don't stay on the entire time, but they like could go on in shifts.
Yep. Nope, I'm out. If my feet get wet,
soaked.
If my shoes get wet,
soaked. So
no.
So then after this, and again, I'm going out of order because I don't really remember. So then we go into this other room where people are screaming at you. So you walk in and it looks like almost like lockers, like stalls, but no doors on the fronts. So it's just like metal kind of little stalls. So the prison guards are yelling at you saying like, get in, face the wall, face the wall. So we're all in, and there's moments in this thing where you get separated from your group. So we go in, we face the wall, and there's a sign on the front. And the sign said something like, don't turn around or you may get shot in the face or something. And he's yelling at me to read it. He's like, read it out loud. And I
don't know words.
I forgot how to read. Like I literally, he's screaming in my ear and I can't say it. And then he like kept screaming until I said it. He made me say it twice. And then he walks away. And all of a sudden you are getting shot at. So your back is to, your face is to the little like inset, and you're getting shot at. And it's not like, oh, we're getting shot with like a Nerf gun. It's like you're getting shot at.
Like rubber bullets?
They're like, they look like the Nerf balls, like the little tiny small Nerf balls, but like like it hurt. I got shot in the neck. I got shot in the ears. I got shot in the ass, in the legs, in the arms, like for a while. Like it was very painful. So then after that room, I'm like, what the fuck did I get myself into? At that point, I was like, this hurts. I don't want to do this anymore. But then we go on to other rooms, and it's kind of like an up and down. So at first you're like, if this is going to progressively get worse, I can't do it. That hurt too bad. I don't want to do it anymore. But then like the next room would be like a guy with holding a cockroach where nothing would happen to you, but he'd like put it in your face kind of thing. So you would get that like up and down.
Like my neighborhood.
Where's the room where you get cotton candy?
There is no cotton candy. So I would say that the worst part, the absolute worst part was electrocution. Yep. And there's a difference between a shock and being electrocuted. A shock is like the shocking pen or like the shocking iPhone.
How's that legal?
Because it's not lethal. You signed a waiver. Oh, so you go into this room and it's like you're going on a roller coaster. You sit down and they pull the little like the restraints. Yeah, they're kind of yelling at you. So in some of these rooms, there's a sign before you go in that basically says, this is kind of what's going to happen. If you can't handle it, you can call mercy. So at any point you can say, I don't want mercy.
There's like a safe word?
Yeah. So you can, and they'll stop.
Cacao.
So as they're hustling you, I think the thing too is you get kind of so disoriented. Everyone's screaming at you and you're like, I don't know where I am. So I sit down, the lady's freaking in my face screaming at me. She pulls down the thing, they lock you in. And there's like numbers on your little chair thing. And she's screaming at you and you like push a number. And honestly, it's such a blur to me. All I remember is sitting down. I don't even remember anyone's faces in the room because I was just like terrified. And I pushed the button and got shocked all over my body. Like literally, it was like a horseshoe from the back of one knee, up my leg, around my butt, down to the other one, up my spine, on the back of my legs. Like, so bad, I wanted to cry. And then she's like, okay, go again, and you have to hit a button. And I don't know, like, as you hit the buttons, these like lasers start pointing to different people in the room. So I don't know if you hit the button that meant like there was numbers of chairs. I don't remember any of this. All I remember is being fucking electrocuted. So we do it. It happens 3 times. I can't even tell you, like I can still feel the sensation. It was gnarly. Mm-hmm. I had pain for probably like hours after, but then the crazy thing is some people in our group didn't get shocked at all or electrocuted at all. So I don't know how the number pad thing works. Like maybe no one picked that number and they didn't get anything, but I was being shocked the entire time I was in that room, like to the point where I was like, if that ever happens again, I will, no, like I'm going to raise my hand, mercy, I want out. So
and that hurts, like electrical stuff. Like I've had it to where like I touched it with my finger and it like went all, like I can set, it's like one of those feelings
it's
that
a burn.
Like it stays with you. Like you remember it. Like getting tattoos, people are always like, oh, what does it feel like? I can't describe that feeling.
It hurts in the time, but when it's over, it's over.
I can't even remember what it feels like. But this, it's like, I could like feel it thinking about it.
Yeah, it's no joke. It was intense. I actually emailed them after and I was like, can you tell me what the voltage level was? Because I just want to know like what I was able to handle. It was crazy. So after that, there's things like, there's like a car that comes at you. There's the one really fun thing that was probably like one of my favorites and it sounds awful. So remember when I said you get shot? Mm-hmm. At one point, you become the shooter. So, which was really super satisfying. Because,
wait, so does that mean that people were shooting you guys?
Absolutely, yeah. So at first I was like, I felt bad because Cameron and I were saying there was like on our side, there was 6 in our group, right? And there was only 4 people. So they basically, normally it's like groups of 6. So there's an even amount of shooters to receivers, but there was only 4 of them. So we were all like shooting and then I felt bad. So we would like aim for their butts, like areas that wouldn't hurt as bad. But whoever I had was like ruthless. Like they were aiming for all the bare skin parts. And I was like, you know what? Screw you. When these guys get to shoot this next time, they're going to be ruthless too. So that was like a kind of fun redeeming factor. So that's what I'm saying. It was very psychological in the sense that like it's ups and downs.
Yeah, there's some life lessons there to like learn to take away that like you shouldn't
inflict pain on others.
If they're coming like, you know, don't
but
deal with the others.
Nobody knew that you were going to get to be the shooter. We all thought, 'cause you can't see. We all thought it was the workers. Like, or it's just an automated thing, like the button goes off and then it just shoots random things at people. So there's other things like, oh, my favorite part, there's a moving room, like an actual cubed room where it's on a gyro, it rotates.
Oh, like they do those music videos.
Yeah,
like
it was amazing. So you essentially as the attendee, you're basically like pushed up against a wall the entire time, but the actors are bouncing around. Like they're flying off the walls, doing crazy spins and stuff. It was nuts. And that one afterwards, I was really like discombobulated because your balance is off. Mm-hmm. And so the second you get out, someone's screaming at you to do the next thing. So if you're considering it and you want something that's like a little bit more extreme, it's definitely fun.
Definitely extreme.
It's very extreme, but it's kind of challenging because there's that element of like, what's next and can I get through it? So I was pretty proud of myself that I didn't chicken out because there was moments where I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Mm-hmm. But for me, the electrocution was like the worst. I had welts on my ass after it was over.
Yeah, no thanks.
But we had talked about it afterwards and like, would we do it again? And initially as we walked out, I said no. I was like, absolutely not. Why would I ever do that again? That is terrifying. Mm-hmm. But then we talked about it and we're like hanging out, having tacos at the taco truck. And we're like, yeah, I think I would do it again. Just because of that, it's a challenge. And it's like, can you handle it? And they're also not going to do anything to kill you.
Yeah, but like if you don't know that you have a heart condition and all of a sudden they shock you and you're like,
yeah, and you're dead.
Well, that's why you sign the waiver, and that's why you should also go to the doctor to make sure that if you do have a heart condition, you're aware of it.
Doctors won't tell you shit.
They don't tell you anything.
Mm-mm. I mean, I had a great time. I would do it again. But if anyone is considering it, like I posted about it and I had so many DMs of people who were like, please, I won't spoil it for my group, but can you tell me if this happens? Because I really want to do it, but I just want to know that I can skip that. So if you have...
No.
Yeah. You guys can always like mercy out of anything.
We're literally stepping one foot in and I'm like, oh yeah, there's showers.
Mercy.
Cacao, get me out of here.
But you could, if you know that, you just wear a shower cap. Like, come prepared. It's not like there's like
I
photo
don't want to be tortured.
Tent.
I'm good. I don't want to.
I don't like.
I want to go to a spa. Fuck that shit. Jesus, same price.
If you had like you know what the haunt would do really good if it was like a massage spa, but there was like a ghost in the corner, and he's like, "Would you like a mint?" Like just very easy and nice.
That sounds nice.
You would go to that after you went to the 17th door, but I highly recommend. I didn't think I would like it. I actually really loved it. A couple people messaged me and were like, "So McCamey Manor next?" And I was like, No. That waiver is like 30 pages or something crazy. This one's only 2.
Yeah, and he like puts plastic bags on your face and waterboards you, and
I was out the very
drags
first
you
video,
by the back of his car.
The duct tape. They get the girl and they like duct tape around her head.
Don't they duct tape her hands to
and her
face?
hair. And I was like, how do you get that out of your hair?
Can you imagine?
This hair cannot be duct taped.
No. I could barely touch it.
So I think, do you guys have any haunty things to add?
No, my life is just a haunted house.
We love haunted houses. We are very willing to try I'm very willing to try new things. I've tried a lot of them. So I'll try them for you guys and then you can be the judge if you want to do it or not.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to What's in the Coffin. You ready?
Oh my God, my bra just like squeaked like a fucking frog. Sorry.
It was
if
like,
the
no.
audio picked that up, just delete it.
It was like, no, I'm not ready.
No, he's going to put a frog on the screen that's going,
all right, Fiends. So we are back for What's in the Coffin. So Ashley, your thing is first?
Yeah.
Are you going to do the unveil or?
Yeah.
Or AJ's going to? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had another plan, so this was a very last minute item.
We can't see what's in it, but.
Not yet.
I'm going to go in. Wait, can you go this way? Is it? Where is it?
Well,
That's
you didn't give me a plate.
oh my God.
It's like at the bottom.
I put it on the bottom.
Wait, I just feel your hand.
It's a worm.
It feels like a bean. It's like it has beans in it.
Bitch, it might.
It looks like a flower that hasn't bloomed.
Oh, I'm feeling the stem, I think, or whatever.
No, there's a little hand.
There's this.
It's a stuffed animal hand.
Is it? I feel like a seam, and then it feels like.
Here. Feel that on the edge.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Like a bit, like
it's
a doll.
It's a torn off baby
doll
hand,
arm?
and I'm pulling out the.
I tore it off a doll because I hate everyone. I had a anger problem.
Oh, it's got cute little fingers.
It is cute.
Poor doll.
But I shook his hand.
He's got some blood stains from me.
Are you gonna put him back on?
On what?
Yeah, wave to the camera, to the folks on the screen.
My bitches.
Okay, I guess I'll go next. Mine's an eating thing. Mine's an eating thing. It's a creepy treat, but
mine's a little bit of both.
I'm gonna put it on top of the coffin, and then I'm just gonna have you guys close your eyes. Because if I put it in the coffin, I can't get it out to give to you, you know? So just ditch the coffin. Okay, it's going to be...
So do we have to close our eyes right now?
Well, it's going to be what's on the coffin table for right now. No, I have it right here. Yeah, close your eyes. You could just close them. You don't have to put your hands over them. Because I need your mouth holes.
I don't trust my eyes.
Okay, keep them closed for 1 second. Ta-da. Don't open them.
Oh, I thought that was for me.
No. You keep your eyes closed. No peeking.
Closed. Stop it, mother.
You're going to have to open... Oh, I'm not talking to the mic. You're going to have to open your mouth holes.
No, I don't like this. Because it's a feely game.
It's not a feely game.
Yeah, you said what's in the coffin, not what's in your mouth hole.
Well, we changed the rules because it was last minute notice.
I'm allergic.
You're not allergic to anything that I have. So I'm
going to open it small.
It has one of those.
You can't open... Okay, AJ, you keep covered. Ashley, open your mouth big.
No.
Just open it. Hold on. It's so good. You're going to love it. Like bigger than that. Can I give me your hand? And like you're going to hold a pencil.
Like a spoon? Like
that. Okay, now pinch. And you're basically holding like a toothpick with something on the end. So eat the thing on the end. Because she's not going to let me. But like the whole thing.
I got a little mouth.
You
got a little mouth.
You act like it's a bad thing.
I know, but I feel like this is...
Is it one of those sausages you had on your table?
Can I tell you yet?
You got to eat more of it.
No, I've been eating all of it.
Okay.
Get one to AJ.
Open your mouth. I'm just going to feed it to you because I feel like...
I know what it is. I'm going to say
What is it?
To darn it.
No. You have to eat more of it.
I ate it all.
No, you didn't.
It's a cupcake.
Be careful because there's a stabby thing on the end. Is it good? Do you like it?
Chocolate.
Yeah. Don't say anything yet.
Oh, it has
Buttercream.
Yeah, it's buttercream. Take one more bite of the creamy part. A bigger, just a bigger, like a bigger bite. Like put it in your mouth.
No.
Come on. It's got, yeah. Oh my God. You can open your eyes now.
Oh,
you just upchucked it.
I thought you put a bug.
Don't flick it in the carpet. You already ate one, just so you know.
I don't want to do this. What is that?
It's crickets. You've already eaten those crickets. That was way more.
Crickets a ton of times.
She's so mad at me right now. Listen.
I
was like, wow, Leanna's nice this week.
But you didn't even taste it, right? The cricket?
No, it's like salty.
Yeah. But I figured it would be like a sweet and salty treat. Creepy treat.
What's wrong with you?
It's all in my teeth.
I mean, I want
my teeth.
I want to eat one.
Cricket legs.
Hold on, I gotta.
Right, AJ, you want yours?
Well, I need the coffin.
I don't want anything.
I need them closing their eyes.
I
'cause
need
they're
my
also
drink. What the fuck are you doing to me?
Yeah, I need a drink.
Where's my spot?
Oh, I put it over here.
Oh
wait,
I don't know if I should. Maybe you guys should put your hands in the coffin, touch it, and then I'll feed it at the same
I'm
time.
not eating anything else today.
You have to.
It's not bugs.
Yeah, mine's not bugs. I don't have that crap like she does.
Crappy friend.
Don't look. Yeah.
I'm not looking. So I'm feeling. Are you putting your hands in? Keep your eyes
Your
closed.
hands in eyes closed.
Okay.
This one.
This
Mine.
is
This is
AJ's
mine.
thing. Where
Mine.
is
It
it?
smells like yogurt. Ew! I'm not putting this in my mouth.
I forgot you were feeding me.
No, I don't want it. No.
Taste it. Just
Come on, Ashley.
tongue it.
What is that? It's like it's like it's like Play-Doh, but it like lemon. Is it lemon Play-Doh?
It's lime. But
Lime?
What?
Play-Doh?
No, I saw Jello came out with like slime. But it's
okay.
But it's like
Now that I know-
edible slime.
Day ever.
Now that I know what it is, I'm not really mad about it. But it tastes like a little bit like toothpaste. Like the consistency of toothpaste.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be more like an actual like jelly slime. But first it was like just like dry Play-Doh, so I kept adding water, and I'm like, well, is it getting better? Is it getting worse? It never got that like kind of jelly,
Like where you could pour it
like
out
a
and it would like slime
like
out.
Like you would stretch it because I think it's supposed to be like for play
Well, they can see
and
it already.
eating.
What?
But
What?
I don't know. Kids are weird.
Kids are weird. It's not terrible, but I just feel like
It also just kind of looks like a Shamrock Shake.
yeah, but Shamrock Shakes are way more delicious than
Oh yeah,
that.
this is not.
It
not
tastes like
good.
almost like lemon, something you shouldn't eat that's lemon. Like it's a toy and you're like, I shouldn't eat
I
that,
shouldn't
but it
eat this,
smells like
but-
lemon fresh and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna try it.
No, I quit.
Did you eat it? Did you try it?
I did. I ate it.
Oh, she
wouldn't
She doesn't like it.
sensitive
Is it all over my
stomach.
face? Yeah, you're gonna poop
Oh,
yourself
but
later.
you'll eat
What?
all the crapola you eat.
I eat good crapola. There's a difference.
It just doesn't involve crickets
Not bad
or
crapola.
or pasty. This was an A for effort. It's definitely weird, but I don't highly. It was Jello.
I got a
Yeah,
Jell-O
Jello,
gets your shit
Jello
together.
brand, and the box was super cute. Well, we'll flash this one up on the screen, but
Doesn't taste good.
doesn't.
It doesn't taste terrible. It just doesn't taste like.
And the
something you should
texture
eat.
isn't good. Like you touch it, it's almost like when you're making bread and the dough is still like sticky.
Yeah.
Like I want it to be smushy but not stick to my hands.
You want to stick your hand in it, and it does like ooze
Yeah.
like slime. So, A for effort. All right, Fiends, that will do it for this episode of Let's Get Spooky. I'm Vamp,
I'm AJ.
And I'm Ashley.
and you can watch all of our videos or listen at letsgetspooky.com. And until next time, Fiends, don't forget to stay spooky. Another cupcake? Anybody? They look like little turds.